Important information is here. Remember to pause and give it a quick read before you continue.
Yo! Hey everybody! It's me, Sonic! Sonic the Hedgehog! Just here to remind you that if you haven't already, make sure to hit that like button. And for even more amazing customs, don't forget to subscribe to Wake Angel 2001! Because between you and me, they're way past cool!
Hey everybody, this is Wake Angel 2001 coming at you with a special figure for Korey Sonic Fan 22. That name sounds familiar to you? He's my model guy. So yeah, the Rouge the Bat heads that I've been using to make customs of Rouge and all the other 3D printing stuff that I've done that's more complicated than a basic shape, it's done by him. So we are making his fan character today, Lucas the Mink. He actually designed his own OC in Blender and sent me some models so I could print out parts for it and make an actual action figure of his OC. So yeah, let's get to doing that. Taking my 3D model guy's model and making it a real thing. Because, you know, isn't that what we all want? Our art to become real? So the truth is, I actually asked him to send me a printable model of his OC's head as a bit of an experiment to see if I could print heads that have bigger spines, as kind of a roundabout's way to test to see if it would be feasible to make an Excalibur Sonic because, you know, Excalibur Sonic has very long spines. And the print was somewhat successful. As you can see, it wasn't completely clean. There's quite a bit of flash, a little bit of material slump on the bottoms, and for some reason the muzzle doesn't print out. This has been happening a lot, and it's a big problem with the Rouge figures. Like, when I try to print it so that the face works, the ears screw up, and when I print it so that the ears work, for some reason the muzzle doesn't print, almost like the computer model forgets that there's anything there and prints a void space. But I was still able to work with this. Just a little bit of sculpting to cover the scars, and at least a muzzle is relatively easy to make because it's basically just a little bean chin that you stick down there. And of course I had to sculpt over the dude's nose because you saw the stream as the nose printed out as. And I decided to not even bother trying to print the bangs because there's no way such a flat shape with this weird shape would have never printed. Like, it's just too out there. So I just cut it out of craft foam and stuck it on there. With a proper repaint, we are seeing his character in his proper color scheme, which is like white. Apparently his character's backstory is that he wasn't born with this white fur. Some kind of accident turns him this way. But if you're interested in the backstory of his characters, you can always go look him up. Because, you know, he's cool. He's a cool guy. He's an artist. Alright, so let's go on to the rest of the figure. Lucas the Mink's main body is shadows, or rather super shadows, and I did add a long tail. This is a piece of wire that I drilled into Shadow's existing tail and then sculpted a long mink tail on the end of. And his coat was conveniently provided by Dr. Halsey. This is the leftover coat from when I made Amy Rouge, because that was a Dr. Halsey and I didn't use the coat for that custom. I came up with the idea of, instead of cutting holes in the back of this little jacket to put the spines in the figure through, I cut the spines off the figure and stuck them on the back of the jacket, and then just built everything around there. I did drill a hole in the back so the tail could go through the coat, but I just figured it was a lot simpler to do this because I was afraid that cutting holes big enough for the spines to go through would actually damage the fidelity of the jacket, because it's a slightly stiffer rubber. It's not like the bicycle tire repair kit rubber that I normally use to make little clothes. So, you know, I had to work with what I had here. I wanted it to look good and not fall apart on me. Okay, so some more 3D printing. Lucas has a very original set of shoes, the kind of like ironclad boots that's unique to his character. So Korey sent me the models for those, and amazingly, they printed almost perfect. Like, I don't know why, but my 3D printer does much better with shoes than it does with heads. I'm not quite sure if it's a detail issue, because, like, if you look at these, there's actually a lot of small details on them that came out pretty good, especially those studs around the ankles. But, I don't know, for some reason when I try to print a head, the muzzle doesn't come out. Like, I have no idea why that is. Um, this is a quick assemblage of what you've seen so far, having a combination of 3D printed parts with things that I've sculpted and repainted. And now we can move on to the arms. This is where I screwed up a little bit because I forgot to take some pictures, but I'll explain. The first thing is that he wanted one hand to be a fist and the other to be an open gesticulating hand. The open hand was not a big deal as I got it from Tails, but the fist turned out to be a problem because I would need a Sonic hand to be symmetrical with Tails' hand, and I didn't have any more of Sonic's fists left over. I used them all up. Aside from a few remaining on actual Sonic figures that are fully intact, I don't have any more Sonic hands in my fodder bin. So in comes another 3D model to save the day. Korey gave me a model of Sonic's fist, which I was able to 3D print. And fortunately, a fist is a lot easier to print than an open hand because it doesn't have to do the individual fingers quite as much. So you can barely tell the difference between this being a 3D printed fist and a regular one, huh? Alright, so there was a little bit of sculpting for the sleeves, and then I painted the arms. Those are the pictures that I forgot to take. So let's take a look at the completed Lucas the Mink character. And there we go, Lucas the Mink. Okay, now, this is an obscure bit of trivia that even I'm not sure about, but was Silver the Hedgehog originally meant to be a mink? Like, I heard somewhere that he was originally supposed to be Venice the Mink, like, as a reference to how Soliana was, supposed to be like Venice, Italy, but in the Sonic universe. But I guess in the end they decided to make him a hedgehog character so that they could have the whole hedgehog trifecta take on Solaris at the end of the game. And so today we've never actually had an official Mink character, technically speaking. Is that it? Was Silver supposed to be a mink? Because, like, I think that might have been a rumor, but I've seen fan art of it. Like, apparently it got far enough that fans heard about it at one point. I'm not really sure. So apparently this guy's not inspired by that whole Venice thing, but it leads me to wonder, was that a thing, or am I wrong? Anyway, one fan character to another. Glad to have you aboard. And I do have another thing to make him, because there is one other thing that Korey really wanted me to make him, and his OC was mostly just a bonus. So stay tuned for that next time, but I got other stuff to do too, so stay tuned for that too. Wake Angel 2001 signing off.